Hi, Nick Tucker, the Historical Fencing Guild. Well, folks, the Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by The Simple Sword, my guide to learning the basics of how to kill your friends safely and easily with the historical context. The images are stick figures. It's so easy. Anyone can learn it, and it's absolutely free to view through Kindle Unlimited. Also, Big Stompy Robots, the game of tactics made for General Kenobi. No, this wasn't made for General Kenobi. We're joined by Cindy Kemp. Before I can even get my spiel out saying, well, hello there. As a good geek, I know the proper response. But if you like gaming with miniatures you already have, you just want to blow up your dinner table, consider Big Stompy Robots. The Historical Fencing Guild's channel is part of the Risingtide network. This is how we're going to really advance, show off the there you go. And following us, the next video in their lineup is something called Comics, Chaos, and Sass on Facebook Sunday at 10 p.m. And of course, never mind the furthermore with Brian K. Morris every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, we're also brought to you guys by my patrons, whom I absolutely adore, love. But that's Steve Augosto, Cindy Kemp, Brian K. Morris, and Stef Mari. Sorry, I'm a little rolling. It's been a very exciting. I had a set of news I was going to give you, and it's coming late. We're also supported by our sponsors, Steve Clausen, who is actually with us right now, and I can't really talk about his project yet, 6 months, and the illustrious John Miner of Swakhammer Metals. So we're going to get into some industry news. We're going to get into some acquisition news and a little bit of heads up of what projects you guys can expect to see from me, hopefully in the next 9 days. Yes, folks. So hello, Cindy. Hello, Steve. 2 viewers, 2 likes, nothing more I could ask. All right. I was really excited. There are a whole lot of sales right now that are prepped on Purple Heart Armory, and I was really going to push it. However, unfortunately, due to the huge storms that have ransacked Texas, Purple Heart Armory is actually closed. They don't have power. They don't have the ability to send things via the Postal Service or UPS. They're just shut down. So keep them in your hearts, keep them in your prayers, and keep some money aside, because it looks like that there's going to be more access to those pro gauntlets, those plastic articulated gloves that look so good. They had some really good sales gearing up. Now, I received a package, and if you saw my previous video, the surprise live video of me unboxing it, you found out part of it was a unfinished knife trainer. Yes, it's really quite the mess. And everybody out there, you guys are my prayers. Steve Clausen is somewhere in the Texas region. I don't want to give too much information away, but you guys are definitely in our thoughts and prayers. And that's why, as soon as this clears up, it would be a great time to order from Purple Heart, because assuming they can make it through this, they've survived flood and other issues in the past. They've taken good care of the HEMA community, so we need to take good care of them. Now, well, let me see. My phone is making noises, and unfortunately my hand is not working well enough to operate it. Let's take the spillable away from that for just 1 second. All righty. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Normally I have a little more together. I got something in the mail. And we're going to talk about this week. I've spent the last few days, when I've been writing like a lunatic, playing with this. This is the Wolf Tactical Sting Trainer. It's very obviously based on Sting from the Lord of the Rings movies, with just enough subtle adjustments not to get sued. About 18-inch blade, very much. This, when we talk Hobbit proportions, this makes me incredibly happy. It flows really well. It's basically like a Celtic leaf blade short sword. I've seen this design in bronze at different points, and it has come back in a sort of gladius. Not Sparta. Anyway, hybrid. It's a stout, thrusting small sword. And yes, to someone like Steve, it would be a dagger at best. To someone like John, it would be a knife. I'd barely call it a dagger. To someone like me, I can actually, because of this very clever pommel, get enough purchase to two-handed wield, and this is only about 4 inches shorter than my preferred blade. So yes, I can actually use longsword style techniques, mire for days, folks, with an 18-inch blade. The weight is light and exceptionally well balanced. I have dealt with stouter plastic, so I will need to see combatively how much damage it takes. But this is really fast approaching that sweet area of trainers that I know I absolutely love and want about 10 of. Another benefit being that this length, while still moving and feeling very swordish, is short enough that I'm swinging. I'm not hitting my ceiling fan. Woo! I'm flashing an old picture of my mother-in-law, but it just goes, and it's light and nimble enough. Hi, John. I'm not talking much this week about the other thing you sent me, because after next week, when I get through with my project, hey, checking for for Callie. Cool. But everything came great. That's put aside till I'm finished and I can do a big review kind of thing. This, John, look at how well this fits me. Look at this beast. I love it. Amanda loves it. Xander loves it. This is just a great little short sword that, honestly, if it was about that much longer, I could use it as a hand and a half. Great little knife. This is available, and actually, I saw there are a few of these. They just got marked down like 25% on Amazon, so they're somewhere in the $25 range. But John, this is going to be very much I'm drilling with it for a while. I find it will partner very well for that sword and long knife kind of combo. This is something you guys will probably see a lot of in the near future, because these work really well even around the braces, which is so crucial. And he sent me the Dwarvish Dagger blank, which is tucked away, because the folks who got to see it, and if not, you need to go back to that video. But we're going to be going, we're going to be going back over that with a fine-tooth comb. I'm going to do some mods and improve it a bit and get it where it's really a nice custom rig. And then I don't know if I'll hand it back to John the next time I see him, or just give him detailed videos so he can recreate the silliness I intend to do. But I need a run to like Walmart for a few supplies and a few other things. Still, it's going to be a really neat weapon. Sorry. Oh, that stinks. Now, like I said, Purple Heart Armory is temporarily closed, and I find that devastating, because that I don't feel I can announce their sales. Becomes very dubious. There are a couple more trainers on the market that are starting to creep down. What we're starting to see is the price of sort of last year's new trainers just creeping down. So there are a couple really nice knife and dagger trainers if people are into that. If those of you who followed, I saw a video about making PVC sheaths very inexpensively, and depending on my funds, with and the world opening up both from the snowstorm and ice storms that have been hammering us and everywhere else, and COVID, I want to try to acquire some proper gauge of schedule, like what is it? 28. It's very, very narrow gauge PVC that I can heat up and custom compress. I'll probably have to make a press for it, but I have foam laying around, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. It will be an interesting experiment to see how well that works from the Nick doing it at home scale. Why, Nick, you might ask, are you delaying that? Why aren't you deep diving it? Well, those of you who follow me on Facebook and a couple other things know, I am trying to get back in the saddle, so to speak. I deep dived my work to do the groundwork for the Hybrids RPG so much I had to delay a lot of my other personal writing projects. I was kind of juggling what I wanted to deep six into. I have some new fantasy that's in the works. There are a couple short stories for Big Snappy Robots in the works, but that's not for this channel. For this channel, we need to go back a bit. We need to go back to two concepts. We need to go back to the days, the good and the bad. Now, to this day, this is my most loved and hated trainer. In that, this is one of the best simulators of a hatchet, a work hatchet to nearly Campax. If I could get that 6 or 8 inches right here, shut up, Christian, to get that full. I love this thing. It feels great. It moves great and looks really good on camera. The problem is this is not made of the same santoprene that something, like this is made of. Meaning, if you look, I've actually had to take a razor blade after only a few very minimal passes and trim sharp edges off because the soft impact left a crease in the plastic. So you can have a lighter version. Let me show you. And it makes me sad. This is the Axe Gang Trainer Hatchet. The Axe Gang Hatchet Trainer by Cold Steel. Balance-wise, it's superb. Drilling-wise, it's superb. Fighting, you can't fight with it because it digs up, and then we literally, the slightest graze opened up Joe Buckman's arm, and I'm like, I won't have something that gets sharp or dangerous. I just won't do it. So this sits as a testament to everything that could be right and everything that could be wrong at the same time. If Cold Steel would mass produce these in something a little sturdier, I'd buy them by the dozen. But they also made the Trench Hawk Trainer. Now, fans of this station, my books, my videos, anybody who sparred me knows, this is in the holy trinity of offhand trainers. It is absolutely adorable. Just, this is the kind of weapon that feels right. It walks right. It grips right. I need to paint mine, I guess. paint yours like this. Now, mind you, these come in black. I only painted mine orange for the same reason I painted. Wow, my hand's going to drop things. This orange, and the same reason that the Parry Dagger, which is in the bag, is painted orange, to show up better on camera, because so many of my bouts are night bouts. It's the same reason I usually fight in that hoodie with the fluorescent sleeves, fluorescent inside, so when I roll up the sleeves, you can see where my arms are. That is a tremendous tactical disadvantage on my part, because it telegraphs greatly to my students. But I have to ask the question, what is my goal when I'm sparring? Is it to, ooh, that sounds cool. Steve says he's going to do it in neon, I think. Excellent. But is it to win? Or is it to teach them and make videos that are easier to track for you? That's why, while I adore this, I am really, really tempted to, in theme, put a nice light neon blue spray paint to this, because Sting originally glows in the presence of I want to say orcs and goblins, and that would make this very easy to see when we're doing night footage, and it would be also thematic, dramatically appropriate. This is one of the few weapons I really would consider dual wielding fairly regularly. It's a very good length, but again, for long-time viewers, I don't know why this would feel very comfortable to me. It's just the benefit of being kind of short-armed. Stef Mari, if you're watching this, you need to buy one of these, or have your John buy you one of these. Not John like that. His name is John. Good guy. Get your heads out of the gutter. But this is just a high-quality item. I really like it. I do want to field test it a bit, because I am a little worried the plastic feels just a touch soft. But we're going to see, because this just flows nice. And I'm all about good gear being available cheaply for you guys. But divergence aside, I mentioned that this guy's really important in my universe right now. Why is this guy really important in my universe? Well, I am currently writing a new book. Tentatively titled Stef! Stef is here. She's also one of our patrons. Buy yourself one of these. Buy yourself 2 or 4 of these. This is just perfect scale. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, it's almost guaranteed at some point in the spring when I have fighters around, you will see. I'll put the link in. I think I put the link up on the Historical Fencing Guild Facebook. Right now, actually, I saw this going on Amazon for like $29.99 plus shipping and handling. That's very inexpensive. They only have like 3 left at that price. It's the Wolf. It's like WOLFFE or something. Sting Trainer. It's real easy to find. Look through Amazon. Just order yourself one of these. This, for someone of your height, would be a great primary. Bet. Okay. You did. Good. Yes. Now, getting back to this, and Steph should be excited because she has a version like this named Mr. Happy. What a lot of people who know me as a rapierist, and I will always be, when it comes to a sword, a rapier guy. I love a light, agile sword. Yes, toothpick. Well, John, you're a giant, and I realized my toothpick dropped the buckler as the head on the lovely boar spear you gave me. I swear, John Miner right now is pretty much almost single-handedly outfitting me, and I'm not complaining. But, yeah, My first weapon that I trained with live steel, both as a tool, was a splitting maul. So I know you guys think of me as this kind of light little fluffy guy, but I actually earned my first car splitting wood with about a 16-pound splitting maul. This thing was a tank. We switched to a lighter one. I do absolutely adore splitting maul. It's just a powerful, wide, devastating weapon. And ironically, I find that axes, for all their reputation of being clubbing, barbaric weapons, are actually among the most elegant and refined in their handling and application. Because you're, especially as a martial arts practitioner, your calibration with an axe has to be superb. Because it is a mass weapon, which means it's very easy to hit too hard with, especially when they have a spike hock like this. Now, one of these days, I'll probably order another one of these. Yeah, that sounds about right, John. 20-pound sledge, busting concrete at 10. Yeah, I was about 12 with a about 16-pound splitting maul. Very heavy, which was good. Actually, I still have more upper body than people would expect left over from those days. And I really developed the form, which gets us back to a good part of why I had to write the fighting axe. But I will give you a big taste. This is the weapon I find myself basing most of the single-handed applications on. Your hooks, your thrusts, and yes, you can thrust with an axe. Your cuts. This is a very simple, devastating weapon. I like it because the trainer is often sub $20. The live steel I have seen from 25 up to 50, and there's some knockoffs that are functional. At some point, I'm supposed to get my hands on one of the actual live steel versions of one of these. But this is one of those I am a dedicated practitioner of, and I adore this weapon. Again, I plan to eventually order another trainer and cut off the back to make it into a more classic, or flatten the back a bit to make it into a more classic workhawk. Oh, no worries. No, Steve, I appreciate that. There's no worries. I know you mentioned it, but I also understand your situation. I'm assuming RT is right axe single-handed, and it is. I have a message on the old direct dial here. Let's see what we got. That has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing, so awesome. Cheers to that. Okay. My problem that started and why I had to write the video. How many times have you guys seen, oh, we're out camping, we're out in the country, there's some dude. And I'm using dude in the ancient cowboy dialect, splitting wood like it's a freaking kendo sword. With that, he's got a felling axe. So he's got a light felling axe, two-handed grip, back. It makes my Virgo claiming analytical. It makes me. That is not how you split wood. It's stupid, ineffective, and dangerous. And that set me on edge. I'm like, I'm going to write up how to do it. And then I realized I am writing up the manual for I have done for almost 30 years. Boom. Very simple, very precise set of rules, very simple, precise set of actions. So that is going in the middle under the axes as tools. Because I can't do it, guys. I can't watch another moron not operate an axe and nearly kill everybody around because I'm going to give you a hint. Working an axe like this, and they're talking to somebody like straight on, that's muzzle flashing them with the axe. Because I have seen, you work with them, bad things happen. I've seen the axe heads come flying off and go right into a tree. I've seen whole axes just slip out of a sweaty hand and go tumbling. I've thrown axes. It's stupid and it's dangerous. So I'm addressing it. But I'm writing it up. So that is taking some time. I'm also breaking down the system, the basic approach to fighting axe and what to couple it with. Because I spent a lot of time around heavies. It kind of drove the fencers nuts that, in all honesty, if I had my druthers, looking back, I really should have gone weapon and board SCA. Oh, no, I'll come axe throwing on purpose. Okay, I am originally from the West Coast. I got to see occasional kinds of lumberjack throwing. Now, a throwing axe, to some people, is a little guy like this, or even one of my beloved tomahawks, and I do love a good tomahawk. Like, this is my fighting trainer, but if I'm going in the woods, an old-style teardrop cross-section tomahawk, that if the handle breaks, I can carve a new one on the spot, is my boy. I love a good tomahawk. So I will gladly and deliberately come axe throwing. I used to be fairly good at it. Now, Steph says, I can't wait to fight you. Steph, I can't wait to fight you either. We definitely need to get into, some very, like, Tai Chi axe is going to be a thing you and I are going to develop to help further your growth. I'm not even kidding. We're going to get a very slow patty cake kind of routine, and from there we'll add on some things, and it's going to be good because we're going to really develop your personal style. And I do love a good bearded axe. But I'm writing a whole manual breaking down this, breaking down its use. Knowing me, guys, there's going to be what trainers to buy. John Miner says, step up, Steph. I'm your Huckleberry. That day will come, John. I know you have a thing for undersized opponents and cohorts in line. Steph would be your bread and butter and that sort of thing. And one day, maybe this summer, we'll hold a weekend kind of event. Yep, from your knees down, you are absolutely toast. She's going to just own your ankles, bud. Your ankles are going to call her mommy. That's just how it is. I know, Steph, I'm not kidding. I know Steph will come out. And I love seeing it. I'll be like, But, I'm also going to do a review on this particular trainer, obviously. That disgusting thing I had to put aside earlier. Yes, you are not going to regret that, Steph. Sting is just... I know you like Chihuahuas, and I'm going to tell you, Steph, look at this. Do you see how happy this is? This is happy. This will definitely fit your preferred fighting style. I'm glad. Good. That's why I review weapons, so I can say, I can go, these two things cost roughly the same. Okay? These two things are very close in price. They're by similar manufacturers. Any day of the week, if somebody woke me up and said, should I buy one of these, I'd say yes. If they said, I already have one, should I buy one? I'd say, yes, get yourself a backup. Any day, I will mourn that I can't suggest buying this because there's some really good qualities to it, but just at the end of the day, it's not safe. And that's why I usually I won't mind lathering somebody coming through my door if it's the first thing I grab, but that's why I buy trainers. Hey, yeah, Steph says 5 people watching, only 3 likes. Hey, I'm not going to call them out because whenever I do, they drop off. Steph says, hit that like button, 5-letter word I won't say because I try to keep my language down. And guys, if you aren't turning your comments on for my videos, you are missing out on a universe of humor because I can't always keep up. A lot of my friends use StreamYard and they do sorcery. I am not that advanced, folks, but that's on my list. I just have an ordinal set of things to go through. I also want to talk about something else. Ugh. And I have to blame Steve so much for this. I think this is the Cold Steel Screama trainer. I affectionately call it the Stick. I adore this thing. Yeah, no technology for me. Like, I need. Thank you for the like whoever just hit us up. This is the Cold Steel Screama trainer, and I was recently asked, Nick, I need to buy one trainer. I don't want to make one. I just want something to work with. What should I buy? Why is everything your fault? Because I'm pretty sure you donated this to me, Steve. I love this thing. It hits that magic, roughly 24-inch. It's a little longer, I think. Reach. It flows really well. And this is one of those trainers that could be anything. And I love a good, what I call an anything trainer. It's got enough weight that I can actually practice staff strikes and have it function without taking out my ceiling fan like I did with that war scythe incident a few weeks ago. But now, yeah, I absolutely have always said an oak dowel. You can pick the diameter that fits, but they expressly wanted a synthetic. And let me look to this: a synthetic and one that was made by a maker they know. They knew of Cold Steel, so this is a great go-to trainer. If it were a little bit half again longer, this would probably be a go-to cane. It's dang near perfect to be a Joe staff. Now, another one of those things from the ancient annals of Nick. When I was a wee young teenage thing, knowing I couldn't get my hands on a sword, I actually found a lovely book at my library that featured Karate Joe Staff. And Joe Staff is about 4-foot long stick. Brothers and sisters, because we have Steph here. I love, and Sydney. Quiet, but always present. I love a good stout stick. So again, I recommend this because if you buy yourself the simple sword and you're training yourself the basic guards, right? I'm going to get to that in a second. This is really good. And it gives you an idea. You can play with this to simulate how other weapons basically feel. The other thing about this is, and I have not found any other trainer. Please note, I am doing what you're seeing. I am twirling this around with metal sheets wrapped around my wrists, interfering with my grip. The reason that's possible, and I'll hold up the camera again, because like I said, they missed the video, is this odd artificial wood grain, like micro grooving. The grip is incredibly positive. So, if they were to take this, and they nearly did with the pebbling, put this on it at this length, or maybe half again, they'd have a shepherd's axe that I would absolutely adore. A shepherd's axe is a Hungarian light. It's basically a little tiny hatchet or hawk head on a walking stick. Wonderful tool. I actually was told years ago, an old student had supposedly ordered me a cold steel axe head cane trainer for Christmas, and then things happened and I never got it. So I would have ordered myself one, but they're discontinued, so they're kind of hard to find. If somebody sees one of those rattling around on eBay, let me know, because that might be a really good long trainer and, essentially T-handle cane. Granted, I am using a crutch these days due to some hand issues, but if I get used to the right kind of cane and this, I might be able to get back to the cane. That's what I'm working towards, Away from the rolly chair, back to the cane. If I can get there, groovy. If not, if I have to be Professor X rolling around telling people what to do, I've had a good run. I can't really complain. It's a lot longer than a lot of people I know, so we're all working towards being better. So this is definitely a stout option, and I wanted to mention that. Bud K actually has a series of their knife trainers on closeout, real cheap right now. A lot of them down to the $3 to $5 range. That's where that went. Let me dig down into not this, but if you ever get a chance, I could never have too many of these. I have a black one with a guard, but because it's black, I can't see it right now that I made. These are just wonderful. Although I have actually, that reminds me, I've seen these on sale. So look around. I think it was actually on Amazon. But if you see these sub $10, get them. You won't regret it. Again, Stef, I can't remember if you have these or not. I think you do. Get yourself some. They're just great and they're forgiving. If Cold Steel would just make a sword length version of these, double the blade length, widen the back, make a column march, I don't care. I would buy them like hotcakes. But that's a live steel sword. Whoops. This guy is supposed to be in there. John says, 6-foot ironwood staff from Lido. Yeah, a 6-foot ironwood staff is a solution looking for a problem, as is the whitewood staff or waxwood staff. These are great. There are very surprisingly few synthetic staffs that are solid synthetics. I think it's M48 puts out the Night Watchman line in a bow and Joe length, so I want to say a 6 foot and a 4 foot length. I've heard good things, but they have diagonal cut striking edges on the front, so they're a little aggressive. I've also heard that the longer one has a bit of whip. Now, certain Chinese practitioners like whip in their weapons. It comes from having to work around the wushu steel regulations put on them by the communists. Wushu steel is that super shiny chrome looking stuff that goes. I despise it with a passion. It's second only to the saber styles that have developed in sport fencing, where they're whip cracking the blade, the tip to get the attacks. Just sickens me to my soul. It's a violation of the spirit of the weapon. And yes, I consider that a nearly religious enough concept that the spirit of the weapon is an item. No. I'm not sure how long you've been gone, Steph. We talked about this stick right here, We talked some assorted staves. Cold Steel. Cold Steel. Apparently, I was possessed by Homestar Runner for a second there. Cold Steel does make an octagonal rat tail staff that is devastatingly powerful. Okay, you're fine. You didn't miss much at all. That I really recommend if you can handle the calibration. It is a bit larger in grip diameter. It's about 5 feet long. I know Steve had one that he cut in half, I believe. Either him or Jim to use it for Screama purposes, which is just brutal, and it's something I can see John Miner doing. But we need he said. We need to start getting back, guys. We need to start getting back. Yeah, they work great. The staff worked great, but it was a bit of a cup tester at a certain point, which I'm not sure I regret. We need to keep in mind armor and calibration. And yes, guys, it's winter now. We are a couple weeks from the start of spring, wherein we will go into the muddy season around here. But it's a good time to really start thinking about how you're going to clean up the gear you have that needs cleaning up, building new gear, planning things out. Tax checks are creeping to some people, stimulus checks. They work great. I think that I use that move on my 47 Schlager. Yeah, you do, John. Cup checking people with a tickle tickle. That's my second favorite brutal cup technique. Good. Steph says I'm gonna buy new protective gear. I'm going to have to make new protective gear, largely because with my weight fluctuations from injury and impairment, I don't think I have anything that will do what I need it to do. So there's a lot of work, and finding the right plus size gear can be challenging, especially for what I need. Steph, you make me a list of what you're looking for, and I will be happy to make armoring suggestions if you're looking to go off the rack. If you're looking to do homemade, I definitely English, Nick. Have you tried speaking it? I definitely can help you there too. That's what the Historical Fencing Guild is all about, guys. We're here to help you save money by me spending money. But so yeah, we're going to definitely be working towards that. I don't want that there. Yeah, cool. But yeah, Steph, I really look right. Okay, Steph says adjustable for torso since I'm shrinking rapidly. I've seen the workout pics. Yes, Steph, you are. I hope to be in a similar when I can get warm. Yeah, I think there are a couple patterns we could work with. To help you make something adjustable. I've seen some really neat stuff that we can kind of borrow from some Western systems. I'm sorry, some Eastern systems for body armor that basically double tucks. So definitely hit me up in the on the Facebook group. We will work you through that. We'll talk about making a pattern. I could show you how to make a really simple version, or we could go more elaborate with it. Steve says, yes, you see, some of us, Steve, are relatively impoverished in what we do and rely on the kindness of folks like you as patrons in the more literal sense. So here's to you. I couldn't do it without literally the list of people commenting right now. John says, why I got my size, would I need anything else? John, you are at an age and a style that You know what you need. You don't really need to experiment. With you, it's fine tuning. It's the guy who's doing Tai Chi and doing the exact same motion with imperceptible differences to figure out which he likes better. Still working on Cindy's sword. We've got a yee from Stef and Steve saying, I've been getting you stuff, so no savings. I'm sorry, Steve, look. As much as I really, truly appreciate anything that comes my way, I understand if you're building your life and you've got a lot to build up and a lot to do. So don't negatively affect yourself on my behalf. I would far rather have you guys happy, healthy. I am, like the thing on Mandy's wall says, I am one of the unknown, led by the unknowing, doing impossible for the ungrateful. For so long, I'm now qualified to do anything with nothing. I'm the guy who, as long as I can breathe at night, so I kind of need my Darth Vader machine, I can take garbage and turn it into gear. I've done it before. I can do it again. Sydney, a lot of it, we may end up doing some kind of like group call thing where we talk about simple things that would work. My plastron is buried, but I don't know if you've seen my plastron. For somebody like you, that's going to be the basis of your armor. Anybody who's fencing, especially, I don't care if you're using a foil, should be using a plastron bare minimum. Yes, you use the break stuff, but impacting can be so dangerous and so damaging. I really want you guys to be safe and prepared. Steph says DIY sometimes costs more money, but it's worth. It costs more because it's worth it. Absolutely. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's. Some of us aren't built for off the rack. They don't cater to a lot of hobbitses these days. Steve says, being single freed up money, so LOL. I'm happy to help someone, Steve. I am honored and help both you and John, everyone here. You guys are what let me keep doing this and not feel bad about spending money on something that doesn't necessarily directly help my family. So I'm really appreciative. I don't have the words. So yes, I'm not going to get misty right now. I've had enough emotions this week. We're not going to go there. CityCast says, I sewed my own SCA gear. Absolutely. And depending on your skill, basically, and you know what? I'm going to show this a little early as a reminder. Rising Tide Broadcast Network. After me comes Comics, Chaos, and Sass on Facebook Sunday at 10 a.m. And then we get back to where I pretty much chat folks up, which is Nevermind the Furthermore, which is Brian K. Morris's rather familiar feeling talk show on his Facebook feed or the Rising Tide publication feed every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. till about noon. But basically, let me see if I can find my marker here because I just had it, which means, of course, it will have been knocked aside in the process of me doing what I do. Okay. To the best of my knowledge, there's no one really 3D printing armor. That would be interesting. Steph asks John, what does he make? John has made lots of steel and leather and kind of high-end SCA armor. He's very good at heavy armor, both in the martial sense. For both you and ironically Cindy, even though you're all of virtually opposite body types, there's a simple style of armor, and forgive my hand, but that can be done cheaply. And basically, all you're going to do for body armor is make a sort of poncho that's either quilted or padded. Just folds over. The reason you have this is these angles have enough room to overlap, so that if you need to cinch it farther as you adjust it, especially in Cindy's case, in Steph's case, well, both your cases, you can adjust it. There's a lot going on. 3D printing armor is a fascinating concept. Steve, I know it's been done for costume stuff, but if you're using like the was it Mark Forge carbon fiber polymer armor, I got a sample. Forge Mark, I'm sorry, Captain Dyslexia is getting hold. You could do some great things with that. It would theoretically be sturdy enough. If you're really looking into it, talk to me. I might be able to set up something, if the patterns don't already exist, to make you some simple patterns that would pieces that would come together to make notable stuff and or modify some armor archive goodies. But we can definitely now Kydex is great stuff. Kydex is very similar, actually, to the blade of this. It's stout but flexible. I really like plastic-based armors over the leather and metal, provided ventilation is included. And by over, I don't mean stacked, I mean in place of, because they're lighter. No, John, the shape, not carpet armor. We're not doing carpet out old school, but the shape. If you knit it, you put fabric around a camp pad, so it's a little more comfortable. That uses a very similar approach to what John's talked about. Is totally accurate. Old school carpet armor. You can use that as a outline and just make it out of something that doesn't suck. Yeah, Steve's doing some business transaction grade stuff, which means depending on the materials, he may be able to 3D print trainers. He may be able to do a lot of really things. And if there's anything I can do to help you with those efforts, and this isn't me riding your coattails, because I just want to see you make money and have a good time. You've earned that in my mind. Let me know, Steve. And yeah, I have an unassembled 3D printer, but I have not had the manual dexterity to do very fine assembly things. As I found out, and it took me several hours just trying to peel the paper off the plastic. But I will be designing. No worries, guys. I got a little sample spool. A sample spool came in, I believe. It's been quite some time, and it should be right over there. I will be designing some 3D prints for my miniatures game, because obviously for years I handmade big stompy robots for the people who wanted them, and I sold little handmade wooden miniatures just like I did as a kid. I'm sorry, Steve. I think like maybe one little sample spool came in addition to what came with the box. I'll have to dig through. There's a chance the box came in and it got set, and no one told me, or that I forgot. That was back in the days when I wasn't getting enough air, so my memory is literally fuzzy. But we're gonna keep working, and I'm really glad that it's so cool to be part of such a supportive organization as you guys represent. The guild is amazing. You guys are giving and kind and loving, and I really respect. And I'm just it. I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, just thinking how fortunate I am to have some of you guys in my life. And I tried to tell you that as much as I can without being a nuisance, or making you think I'm trying to get in your pants. But yeah, I'm honored. Steph says we love you, but yeah, I'm the guy who can get. The only things I'm hypocritical about is you know, I will build everybody else up and forget to mention myself, and a few things along those lines. I'm no good to. I'm no good at receiving compliments. Steve says no magic rod for you. Translated, you can read the P word if you want. I don't want to because I'm not going to. The thought of saying Steve is in my mouth just won't roll out. Anyway, but yeah, guys. No, you're pretty, Steve, but you're just not my kind of pretty, and that's okay. But yeah, guys, getting back. So right now, it's why I seem scattered. Part of me is still working on my manual mentally. The next manual should be out by end of the month. That's my goal, with some more fiction following, and hopefully by then I'll be able to move forward with the Luke Stone stuff, and I'm going to get really busy with some fun RPG stuff that I'll announce here too. Because this is my biggest venue. So you'll want to follow me, my Amazon author page, which is www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Talkert. That's me, where you can get. Wow, did I bury my stuff again? I always do. God, the simple sword, the big stumpy. Let's see. Aha. The big stumpy robots line of games, and a bunch of other goodies. Plus, you'll be able to see the books of my wife and an associate by the name of Kivrin St. James, who I've done cartoon cover art for. So there's good stuff in the works. As usual, I am able to do this because of the lovely people in the chat who are all right now either direct patrons through Patreon or direct supporters where they just through other means. So I am blessed to have you guys, and it's how I can afford to keep my tarp up and this lovely lighting shining down upon me. So huge shout out to all of you, to John Miner Swakhammer Metals, yes, he bought me Sting, and he made me this beautiful boar spear that I'm going to work on when it's warm enough that I can do things like stain stuff, because this is absolutely gorgeous. And there's going to be some really neat crafts in the works. Breathing. I got going so fast I forgot to inhale, guys. But yeah, I want to do more fighting events. We might even set up a live stream for some of them if that's something the participants can handle. If not, we'll do videos, because this is really cool. And what's great is anybody of different health, age, build can come together, use a simple system. Some of these people I taught how to fight. Some of them I just taught this as a Rosetta Stone. And that's what we do. We use that system as Rosetta Stone to talk styles. Yeah! Steph says, I want to fight, and I'm good with you filming me. I'm a bad bee now. She just got that DNA test. Turns out she's 100% that. Anyway. Oh. We're gonna have some sting on sting action. It's gonna be great. Someone's gonna laugh at what I'm thinking about that. Yeah, we need to see that. That reminds me, Steph, there is a couple. Yes, there are a couple trainers that are out by that company. One of which looks like a smaller version of the sword from Berserk, actually. So, if that's something that would appeal to John, her John, not Big John, Big Bad John, but let me know. I could make some more recommendations. Really neat stuff is coming out. There's an elvish dagger that I'm a little worried about the pointedness, but boy, does that look like a fluid cutter. There's an Indian sword design that I saw. Again, a lot of really fluid. Yep, that I think Steve knows what I'm talking about. That Arabian dagger. Now you guys have to understand, my favorite knife guy has been, and will always be Doug Marcaida. And the fluid saying Doug Marcaida has a Screama-like style is yeah, it's on Amazon. If I'm right, it looks like a cross between a Gladius and a yay. I just got the message. Tell you how nutty my internet is sometimes. I just got the message, Steph, that you ordered that sword. But the multitasking is not something I do. That Berserk style sword, it's under the polypropylene trainers on Amazon. I cannot remember its proper name. Boop. So I will try to quick scroll. Okay, here we go. Let me see. Do you see that? It's not the... And that is when my hands stop working. Yeah, John, you already knew how to sword fight. I just taught you how to not break fencers. But using my advanced picture-in-picture, if I remember right, that is very much like a one-handed version of the sword from Berserk. And even if not, looking at that thing's kind of brutal simple lines really screams John Hudson to me. So there's that. Richie was asking for a Kopesh trainer. There are a couple that are out there. If you have the money again, I'd say link. Steph, here. It's by Wu Jiao, and it's just Amazon. So just type in polypropylene sword trainer into Amazon, and you'll get that. Actually, here, I will, if I can get this to work, I will. Wow, it is not wanting to behave. Copy the clipboard. And I managed to send you the link, Steph. So that should be the link. 1911 trench knife. Absolutely. Cold Steel has one. If you're looking for a trench knife trainer, this is one of my absolute favorites, in part because I am a big fan of anything with a knuckle guard. So Yeah, Steph, that should have messaged the link to you. These are going for like $8, guys. And again, a lot of times you either want to pick a trainer very close to what you fight with, a trainer close to what you want to fight with, or whatever's on sale and just see if you like it. I hate to put it, but this gives very solid protection. I believe I had to buff. No, I didn't. Not this one. But the glass breaker's a little aggressive, so be careful if you do a pommel strike with this. I like something like this for the fluid conversation pieces because, again, if you want to talk weapon agility, if I can make it go literally with my hands braced and my wrists unable to twist, super cape, or properly bend, although that would wobble a bit, all I have physically is this. If with just finger adjustments, I can get a knife to do this, that tells you it's a very positive knife. I also, guys, when we talk trench hawk trainers, I like this because the grip, I drop things, as you have seen. And as I am prone to dropping things, something like this that has some retention to it can be vital. So you'll probably see this or something similar becoming a backup weapon in my arsenal. Not necessarily because I love the style, but because even if my hands randomly open from the nerve damage, which they do, I can retain it. Ironically, with the grip on this, I haven't had much trouble losing it, and I can still get a lot. I have very wide, surprisingly wide, but very short fingers. I can get a lot of control with something like this with a very minimal grip. I tend to lock it obviously more when I'm fighting, but this is a classic combo, and that's one thing you want to keep in mind. What weapons you have and make sure they play well together. That's why. There it is. How can you lose? Okay. That's why something like a trench hawk makes a great axe trainer, but it is a colossally elegant offhand because you have to think the strengths of your offhand very often are not that ranged calibration. It likes a more predictable, broader action. So a combo like this, is a very nice QCB. You got punch parries, you got very brutal, simple stabs, all your axes, hooks. And see, I like seeing this much like some people use karambit trainers as a redirection element. So the sword comes in, you grab the sword. No, I want the sword over here so I can stab you in the face. Or no, I'm going to catch the haft of your weapon, tangle it here, cut your arm because it's in reach. Maybe disarm you altogether and be in an advantage. Or one of my all-time favorites, and yes, this will be mentioned in the book, hook the shield, pull the shield, thrust with the axe right to the face. Beautiful, elegant, destructive. And as a surprise, when I complete my axe manual, I will be doing a video as a companion piece. It will be a secret link. I will not make it public. It will be, you get the link in the back of the manual, or as a patron, patrons will always have access to any secret links I throw out. And then I will put it up to them whether they think it should stay a secret link or whether it goes public. The other thing is, I want to let you guys know, the 4 patrons I have right now, 2 supports, these 6 people are sort of my council of 6. The 7th being my wife, who takes care of literally everything. And these people influence what I do. So if you get on the Historical Fencing Guild and you want something that you ask, I'll probably do it. If you're a patron and you say, Nick, I want to know about Hungarian Shepherd axe. If I don't know about a Hungarian Shepherd axe, I'm going to look up and find everything I can on a Hungarian Shepherd axe, because I serve the people that serve me. That isn't even moral. That's just good capitalism, folks. I want to always be providing content that serves the people that came back, either the ones who plug my stuff or they financially or morally support me, because, guys, I'm out here doing a lot. It is not easy sometimes. So I appreciate you, and I do believe in giving back everything I can, you know? So that's part of what I do. And yes, I want to this spring, as I get feeling a bit better, I still have a stack of reviews. I basically want to review individually every single trainer I own so that I can then reference it. The boss. Double bit bearded Viking X. Okay, hold. The boss must be referring to. Okay, that's referring to my wife. Yes. You know, there are only three things in this world I'm genuinely scared of: my God, my government, and my wife, because they can all give me a fate worse than death. And that is not some kind of male bashing of the wife. John says double bit bearded Viking axe. Let's talk about that a bit, because I have purposely skipped over the double bit axe in my manual thus far, because it's one of those things. One of the reasons that I like an axe, which if you cut this off of, and it's just a tomahawk style, not a spike hawk, but a tomahawk, which is essentially a slightly less bearded axe. Why I like this is its versatility. This is a multi-tool, especially if this is slightly more of a hammerhead in back. This is a multi-tool. Yes, I can axe away my problems. I can cut, I can cleave, I can hook. But if this is flat, I can hammer, I can craft easier. And the only benefit really to me in having a double-bladed axe is a wrap shot and having this edge is sharp. Okay, it's starting to dull, I can switch. That's why double-bit felling axes are, because you just flip it over and it stays sharp longer, and there's a rotation in it. And I don't know if you guys can watch what's going on, but there's a rotation in it. Now, I can do more with this without the big cut of the back beard. I can actually carve bowls. I can use knife-like options. I can cut rope. There are a lot of bushcraft applications in a tomahawk. And now I want to talk a bit. I got to do this in the manual. I'm going to get into this here. Why is this so popular? Well, a cross. I know you fought it. John, I based my whole section, and I'll put this out there, you can claim it, on mace and axe as a 1-2 combo for harrying lines based on your fighting style with a mace and an axe, John. That, friggin' foam football looking move the weapon, tent stake, move on. Bam! Oh, bonk! I remember watching you cut through a line like that. Never forgot it, John. So yeah, long control with the axe, smite with with the mace, as soon as they start expecting you to do it, switch the rolls up. But and it talked to why aren't there a lot of double axe systems talked about? Even though double axe totally works, oddly enough, it seemed to move real well with Stephanie. Although I'd be tempted to get her a couple of these if you ever find them really cheap, Steph, because you're going to risk partially destroying one. In your case, if you manage to cut about a hand's width off and the back tail here off and make yourself a double set like that, I think you would be in drummer heaven with two of those. But vast majority of people, when you see axe, it's axe and and saber. This piracy for days. Why? They cut ropes with axes. They cut wood when they needed wood with axes. So it's there. The saber is there. Go to town. A lot of systems. I'm going to drop everything. Okay, that's fine. Are axe and knife. Why? If you're going out hiking in the woods, in the jungle, in the whatever, you're going to have something akin to a long knife. Because there is a machete trainer. I may buy it one of these days. Now, one of these is very much like one of these anyway, but it's not as good at what this does. So I carry one of these as my machete to cut my way through the vines and the undergrowth. I use this for actually chopping wood and, again, some of the craft applications. Stuff goes down. Prominent fighting style. You look through the Native American. It's interesting that the Native American indigenous peoples, I'm trying to pick the right term that's not offensive, so if anyone is offended, I apologize. But systems that get talked about are, that's where my sub-hill went. Anyway, something like this. Bowie and tomahawk. And you'll usually see the tomahawk as consistently an offhand weapon. It is about gaining the control, much of the time, to force an opening. Now, sometimes they reverse it. There's some people, I will admit, though I am ambidextrous functionally, I am far more likely to put the axe in my left hand because it's my left hand, even though is a bit stronger from lack of damage and a bit dumber from lack of use. So it really likes the natural flow of the tomahawk. Now, the axes especially, they love those downward cuts. They need to be light enough for those raising and those grabbing cuts. What do I mean? Hold on, I gotta arm you guys. Cool. This is the little... I may make a rig for this. So, sword is pointed at me. This is a bad day. Why is this good? Sweeps up, catches. Now, it's hard to go, remember that knife? Boom. And it just comes up. Frontiersmen fought knife and hawk. Why? Because if you're hiking, I'm going to go yell at our buddy Shadigan, but boom, boom. Both of these weren't on the left side. Right, pull up. And you do something like that, and that feels suddenly very right. This has gone through the belt. It might be right draw, left pull, depending on how you hang it. But these are tools that doubled as weapons and were carried as such. Knives do knife things better than hawks. The same people who carried these, this is the equivalent of a neck knife. I'm sorry, a camp knife. Carried their real sharp little neck knives put aside for real sharp applications. And that is because edge is it's a resource, and it's a diminishing resource. And you have to realize that sharpness is not a permanent status when you're thinking of survival tools and weapons. So you keep your real sharp, real clean little knife, maybe for eating, fine work, whatever. Now, John says hawk in both hands. And while I do have, I think, another axe somewhere, it's not here. So yeah, absolutely, hawk in both hands, but that means the only reason to carry two hawks is if you intend to throw one and keep one, or you're planning on fighting with two hawks, which is great, but then you don't have something that does a knife job as well as a knife. So once again, practicality. Now, that being said, I fought two very different approach people on Salat. Karambit guys, Steve and Al. And offhand, I was playing with the axe, very traditional. And I got a little tired of getting cut up. So I did something weird. Instead of taking my usual, I took it like this. And I still, if this were this much longer, oh God. And there was some looking and some confusion. Asking what I'm doing. That's not Scream of fighting with the axe. It's not. I was fighting it like it's a camp axe or a boy's axe. Staff work, double-handed, hook, double thrust. That is a very efficient, very powerful style. And anybody who says you can't fight with a light felling axe or a felling axe is not strong enough by the occupations that carry them. I don't normally play that card, but I am comfortable in that I did it for a living long enough, which might be part of why I have these problems, that I know what an axe means, and we have lost it. Because the first thing I hear is, well, I'll just cut that axe handle in half. As the Reverend Eastwood so clearly said in the seminal sermon, Pale Rider, there's nothing like a good piece of hickory. And I'm going to tell you, trying to cut through a hickory axe handle is not easy. It is not simple. It is a sturdy, strong, powerful tool. So something like this I knew intimately because I chopped trees. I split wood. I made this go. Ironically, if I had my druthers, especially that, it would have been with this guy. Because this is balanced and handles just like one. So I can intimately make this go. But you don't fight it like a hand axe. You fight it like a two-handed axe. And a two-handed axe fights, I learned years later, like a short staff. You're not going to fight. Let me see. People will try to get you to fight this like this. They don't fight the same. Some systems want you to fight this like this. And they don't fight the same. Now, this and this, these two actually speak the same language. The difference being that instead of the weight being forward oriented, it's up. So this and this have remarkably similar masses. And if you're planning to strike with this part, tell me this doesn't look familiar. Wait a second now. Short staff fights remarkably like an axe. It just takes the extra length, balls it down, and shoves it forward. John says, my CU, my club, my Q. You're having some big fingers, little keys problems, John. So redo that, and I'll be happy to address it because I can't quite catch it. You also notice with anybody who watches me with a round Q, I've done enough staff strikes where, chucks are from hickory splitting handles. Yes, interestingly, I don't know if I can find it, but somebody made essentially light up chucks that look like lightsaber blades, and they look really freaking cool. Now, I will be the first to admit, I personally, Nick Talker, suck at nunchucks. I don't like flail weapons as a rule. There's one really extreme, exception, but chain flail weapons chucks are not my bread and butter. I just don't like them. There is one I dabbled in, and if I were being greedy and just kind of chilling for myself, I'd get back into. And that's not even, that would be something more, I'm not even going to mention it, because if I mention it, people will try to get me to do it, and I'm not up to that. As a rule, I don't like weapons I can't immediately and totally control. And I do like things to get back into. So if there's interest in me doing something really different from what I usually do, and I can get back in form, nope. I'll see about it, but it's not nunchucks. Nunchucks and I do not nope, they're just not my bread and butter. I would far rather have this stick, or this much of this stick, or the nunchucks as a solid piece than with a bit of chain rattling around them. It's just, I don't like to fight the weapon while I'm fighting an opponent. I'm not bashing them. I'm not saying they're not effective. I'm not saying that they don't have a whole sphere of glory, sectional staves, all that stuff. I'm just saying they are not my bread nor butter. But then again, considering that I'm a big fan of what's classically called a rod or a that feels so good. Guys, the balance on this thing, I can't even, I want to not trust it. You saw the reflex grab of oops. But this thing just makes me happy. I can make this go. And I am a short staff guy. Have been pretty much my whole life. I like that it becomes whatever weapon I need it to be. It could be a spear. It could be an axe. It could be a longer sword. I can make this go. Steph, don't worry about it. You could always catch it on the rewind. A lot of what I was talking about, and actually I encourage you to rewatch this stuff, was what to partner axes with and how they're going to flow and what I prefer. There's, like I said, there's also a non-standard style that I used to dabble in. There's a lot of entropy involved by the nature of the weapon, so maybe I'll dabble in it again, maybe not. We'll just have to see. But I have to do that outside. So, yes. But again, pick what resonates with you. And it is funny because despite all of this, there is a pattern in what I personally like to study. And it's kind of silly, and it's kind of odd, and it might be a bit philosophical. But I have that right. I like weapons of defense, not necessarily warfare. I like agriculturally oriented weapons, things that it makes sense to carry, that are versatile, and give me an option of meter response. And that's why a lot of times I like a stick better than a sword, even knowing I could defend myself better with a sword slash machete slash. Guys, this Bowie knife trainer, another cold steel one, it's as long as my forearm. So that puts it at the bottom end of a short sword for me. Part of it being I am a little guy. And this is one of my favorite hilts of all time. But if I use something like this, I'm going to maim, I'm going to bloody, and I'm going to scar someone up. Barest minimum. They're not getting out of this not cut to hell. And they're probably getting out dead, because the way to make these go is make dead. So if I can have the option to grab a stick, yeah, I might break a bone, I might break a collarbone, or a joint. They're going to get a limp, but they may survive. And I'd far rather be able to drop a dime on somebody than drop a body. And if that makes me weak, I accept it. That's part of my vaguely clerical, paladin-y, monk, whatever weirdness you want to assign me as a character. It's just kind of how I operate. Got a ping here. Let's see who is pinging. Okay. Oh, yes. Ooh. Well, that's cool, too. Yeah, those are beautiful. Steve sent some beautiful things to me. I thought he would. I am the Ollivanders of sword trainers, because I spend a lot of time watching people. And I don't think he's weeb enough to want the one-handed, slightly small version of the Buster sword they make, but that's out there too. There is also a company that makes full-scale, like poly resin, whatever, Buster swords for sparring, but that's a whole lot to swing. I'll say that it's cool, but if I have to take an oversized weapon, I'm going to go Odachi and at least have something I can make go, which technically I have, and I absolutely adore. When when Purple Heart gets back online, I do sincerely hope to acquire. Steve just said you need to get a more reliable version of the Punchy Axe. I assume he's this guy. Now you'll note, as soon as I pull this out, my gestures closed up. My demeanor fell. It's not that I don't enjoy it, but this is an axe, this is live steel. I respect it. This, however, as he said, Punchy Axe, this flows better than some knives I've seen for certain grab. If I wanted to make a more deadly style of my evolved hand-to-hand form, something like this would definitely be it. I quite like this little thrower, but he's shown me some more aggressive things, and they're very cool. You want to get what this is a Timberwolf TW. I'm sorry, yeah, TW 384. It was actually part of a knife and axe set that came with a little fire starter and compass. Jim left this over here so long, that's why there's still dirt in the thing. I've tried to clean it to get the dirt out. This was a little light thrower that Jim used, and this just became, honestly, for a period in my life, I couldn't find the right EDC knife. I was hiking constantly, and I started carrying this, and I've actually since worn. Can you see? I have actually carried it so much I have worn the webbing on the pouch. This was actually what I affectionately called my neck axe. Steve says you had one, Steph. Where did it go? I don't know. Now, this is actually, because there is not a trainer for it, something I have plans to make trainers of as a light backup axe, and as I believe that you should be able to train with something similar to what you carry. So you may see something similar to this. It may force me to learn how to do this really sexy paracord grip, but they're nice, and I like it. Oh, apparently. Okay, so there was some drama in Steph's life in the past, and I'm glad we're past it. I think that is discontinued, but Bud K brands have this odd habit of discontinuing and re-emerging. So we'll keep a weather eye out on that. Okay. And that's knowledge that my family is home safe from their adventures across the country. So now I get to wait 2 weeks, and we'll see what becomes of that. I am glad, Steph, that you've built up enough confidence not to feel the need to trust and rely on people who are negative in your world. Anybody can be toxic in the wrong situation. Anybody theoretically can get past it. I'm hoping things are better. Steve says, I have a couple in the box of extras I will donate to the guild that can decide where they go. Those who know me know that I am often the keeper of things that aren't exactly mine. The most notable version being I found John's cat before John knew he had a cat. And then they met, and it was his cat. So, yes, good things are coming, and trainers are coming. Again, don't be afraid to purchase. And this is probably... Where did Knifey go? No, you're not Knifey. You're not Knifey. Anyway, my co-host Knifey is apparently on vacation, but he sent his little cousin, Neck Knifey. No, I made this out of HDP cutting board. This is actually out of scrap, hence its rather unique shape. But never be afraid to just buy a big chunk of about half-inch plastic cutting board and cut it out in the shape of the gear you want. Now they do sell 1/16 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, little thin cutting boards for like 88 cents. Where if you're making a very small knife trainer and you just want to see how it flows, you can get one of those from Walmart. But if you want something a little more aggressive, something like this, and actually this little knife would be great for Steph. This is a good design for her. Because if you want something with reverse grip capability without the whole finger hole thingy, this actually flows really well. I need to clean up where my knives are. And I have a knife on that theory on the wall for when I see Steve. But that's based on his Aries. It's a great knife. That being said, if you can't afford a trainer, sometimes I've seen them go upwards of $40, but you could get a 24 by 30-inch cutting board, and you can make all kinds of trainers out of that. I've been thinking, well, that the particular one about that axe, my favorite. Probably I just need to get another LOL, and that is a great knife. I'm getting a few cutting and molding tools so I can start making trainers. That's what I want to see. if you guys notice, I don't set myself up to be come to me for what you want. You want armor, come to me and make it. I would far rather say, here's how it works. Let's get it where you can make your own. That way, if a bus hits me, you can still make armor. Ditto with my knives. This works, but who knows how my hands are going to work, and I'm a little dubious around power tools right now. So let's talk about how to do it. And that's actually mentioned in the new book. I'm going to go over the basics of all that goodness, molding tools, and like I said, don't be afraid to underthink it. What do I mean by underthink? You can get something this quality with just a cheap plug-in-the-wall jigsaw and a cutting board and a Sharpie around whatever you're drawing. Now, why do I say a cheap plug-in-the-wall jigsaw? When you're working with plastics, use crap tools. What? Electric tools. So that's electric drills, electric saws, things like that. Love to inhale HDPE plastic parts, get them in their gears, the heat melts it and it gums everything up and kills them. It's literally cheaper to just realize you're buying a tool shop brand from Menards or something discounted at Harbor Freight, corded, because those are usually cheaper tool, that when it dies, you're not out much. This is not like Makita grade tool work here, okay? So keep that in mind. I was worried I wouldn't have enough content this week. Sorry, I need to catch my breath for a second. I will always say, if I don't like bootlegging, ironically, if an object is at a reasonable, okay, hung up for a sec there. If an object is at a reasonable price, it's fair and just to buy that object. Like, well, I didn't buy that, so wow. I want to congratulate you. Oh, I bought this. The vast majority of trainers that are around me, I didn't buy. I mean, I'm able to do what I do because of donations from you guys. That's the reality. I couldn't afford the trainers, the knife. I could not have something this nice if it weren't for John Miner just simply ordering one for me. The huge pile of old trainers that Steve got me. I couldn't afford it, so I'm incredibly grateful. My point being, I didn't buy this. I think I paid 20-something. I have no regrets. It was totally worth $20 for me to pay it. Could I now take this and bootleg a copy off of if I had the cutting board? Sure. But I know this is the quality. It's a fair price usually. You can find these as cheap as $12. If you can find it at a cheap, fair price, you can afford to buy it fair. If you can't, no shame whatsoever. Bootleg it. And then if you can, if you can afford to buy a real one and see which one you like better. This is the medieval buckler. It is about $25. It is a must buy. Because it's dished and solid, it would actually be very difficult for me to manufacture right now. I have some options in the works, but you guys know me. I've always got options. The Targe, which is supposed to be like this much longer, it's a functional small shield, I would really recommend for Steve Clausen. It should fit his grip comfortably because it's a bit larger and it covers more. So it's a synthetic center boss with a bit more weight to keep it in place. Light shields. I have fought with aluminum shields. I've fought with wooden shields. I've fought with the transparent riot shields, and I fought with the poly thick guys. I like having some weight in my shield to help absorb the blow and maintain stability. Really, it does not. This rubs and leaves hot spots, huh? I'm sorry. Wow. Okay. Well, there are steel ones that can be done, and there are some other options. What you might want to get with John Miner to talk about, or if you get a log and you make a dishing block, or you use an old bowling ball, you can make your own dome-shaped portions. It just takes some metalworking. I want to cater the gear, and that's why we playtest it. That's what playtest it. Go. It's why I order and review it, and it's why we discuss it so people who are watching don't make the same mistake. We'll keep working on it then, because that disappoints me, because I was going to say that large targe fit your fighting style very well. You like the dynamic of a center boss. When I use the shield, because my grip is kind of not my strong suit, obviously, I tend to like a small strap shield, usually a round or like a teardrop heater where I have mobility on how it works. Yeah, I think that might be your best bet. Is you could afford to go custom, and I don't claim to be a high end, okay? I'm a basics guy. And I will help you guys find basic gear that fits you. If you can't, I will help you get it made. One thing I would like to remind you, when they open back up, Purple Heart Armory has a history of some really nice custom work. And since you are in Texas, and while local is relative, you're a hell of a lot closer than I am, it might be worth it to call them up and make a pilgrimage down. Yes. Well, you're right. You don't need high end, but you need functional. Yes. Okay. You can, like, due to the flooding. I'm sorry, not the flooding this time. The power outage and the snow that's hit Texas. Purple Heart Armory can't get anything out right now, so they are closed for the of this crisis, which is, yes, the online store is closed temporarily. Yeah, because of the crisis. I will say, if you've considered buying from Purple Heart, okay, and you haven't, we're getting in the line where a lot of people are getting their tax checks. When they open back up, and here's hoping they have the funds and are able to open back up. When they open it back up, they're going to need your business. Yeah, John, you and Steve should probably discuss and get some measurements organized, because I know you can make because he needs a decent center boss shield. Yeah, I'm really more, I feel for the people in Texas. My favorite miniature making company besides myself is Reaper Minis. And honestly, there are companies that growing up were influential on me. I'm a fantasy artist and a game designer and a lover of mecha because of a company called Reaper Miniatures out of Texas. And I'm pretty sure they're getting hit by this too. So Purple Heart has done right by me. I mean, gosh sakes. Christian over there made the Italian tactical sword trainer, which is one of my all-time favorite swords, and it may just be my preferred On it's a permutation of the Venetian side sword, the Venetian basic trainer. I think it's Venetian infantry. He's changed names a little bit, but this is an amazing sword. John is 6 foot lots, and it's okay. When you've seen Steve's fist, I'm sorry, forgive my hands if I accidentally gesture. They are that wide. John's are about half a finger that wide. They are meat hooks. He is a very large on all axes. When I say John looks like Hagrid, I am not exaggerating. We went to the first Harry Potter back when I was skinny, and I'm pretty sure I was clean shaven at the time. I might not have been on that, but side by side, we watched Harry Potter. We stood up and literally we got a standing ovation. Because John looks like Hagrid, and at the time I kind of had a Harry-ish vibe. Although my scar, which is much milder now, is over here, not zigzag in the middle. Yeah, I don't want to hoe John. Good God. I don't know where we'd find size 16 high heels. Wrong, I actually do know where to find size 16 high heels. But no. Now I'm just trying desperately not to envision John cosplaying as the giant vampire lady. Thank you, Stef. That hurt my butt. Wait. I just watched the This Is Not What You Need to Think Of white cloud of mental numbness pass over and try to erase that image. So we are okay. We are entering the last 10. I will add to the fun to get it for him. No. I've seen the man in the kilt. I know him too well. It's terrifying. Anyway, let me see if I can use my ultra high-tech picture-in-picture technology here to remind folks of the fellow members of the Risingtide. No stepping on anybody. Here we go. This is the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and the next show is Comics, Chaos, and Sass on Facebook Sunday at 10 p.m. Following that is Never Mind the Furthermore on Brian K. Morris or the Rising Tide Facebook page at 10 a.m. Central, Eastern time. Sorry. So there we go, guys. That range as it goes. We also have folks like TED Talks. We have Clever as Hail, and the folks at Stupid O'Clock on Thursday and Saturday nights, not to mention the Armchair Rockets. I crash their show a lot. So if you want to see me cut loose about things that have absolutely nothing to do usually with swordplay, hit them up. I follow the conversation. I am not reading this mess out loud. I'm hoping, because I've closed my eyes, and I'm really hoping that John isn't referencing an incident. Oh God, he is. Green Bustier. Guys, I've been sober my entire life without, medical, you're getting wisdom teeth or something. I've never imbibed alcohol. That means when my memory works, I remember the horrors I have seen. This is all your fault, Nick. Yes, guys. Welcome to Historical Fencing Guild, where it's always my fault. Somebody has to be responsible. I guess the gimp with the stick is. For once. Yeah, somebody has to be responsible. Not usually falls on me because no one else will. As I do videos and stuff for the coming Fighting Axe book, I may do some craft videos if, again, my hands are up to it, just to make some stuff. Okay, I will definitely start setting the links there, John. Cindy, I'm going to tell you a couple things. My dear Cindy Cap. That's www.ckoepp.com. She's writing on the edge. Sorry, that plug just comes from right here because I'm used to it. No, Cindy, it is not your fault. As long as I am around, problems are usually my fault, even if they're not. And I'm arrogant enough to think that I can fix it all. Right, wrong, or indifferent. No, and yet, no, I do. Cindy, one, I'm sure you do have a green. Okay, guys, keep it civil. A green bustier, but your green bustier might fit John's thigh. God bless it. If you guys ever wonder what real Friday Night's practices, yes, she is literally a little tiny elf to pixie scale, delightful woman. So yeah, maybe his calf. I don't think you guys. I understand that many of you think when I am referring to John, I'm being hyper. Him who would fit it on a foot. Okay. No, we're not going into John's speak. That's like hard stuff, guys. But I'm going to keep this going a little while because, gosh darn it, it's entertaining. That being said, Cindy, I'm sure you would look quite lovely, and I'm, for purposes of public nature, is not in the public. I will keep my commentary to a minimum, but even if it weren't, it would be flattering. Now, yes, I sense a disturbance in the farce, and that sometime this summer, the great guild practice weekend, whatever, will result in hilarity and you two, like, I could probably design a platform backpack for John, and both of you could ride around using him as a walking siege tower. Oh God. You guys, like, oh, you know what? I really hope. Yay, backpack. That's not helping, Steve. That's not inaccurate, but it's not helping. Oh no. My ultra advanced cardboard sight got damaged. Come on. I have to recenter my sight here. No, that doesn't go there. You guys don't need to see old family pictures. I intend in the near future, stop yelling at me, to do a better background format, guys. But I'm still operating on a shoestring budget, so now I need to find a backpack to bring to a duel. There we go. I haven't shot something in a while, and I need to every so often. Oh, yeah, you need to bring a backpack to the duel. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, y'all need to meet. Okay, Dora. Wow. Wow. I do not want to envision John cross-dressing as Dora the Explorer. My gosh. You know, some weeks this show stays on topic and we are fairly academic. We approach the arts of swordplay and philosophy. And some days, the elf bard and the goblin barbarian are both plotting to turn my buddy John the Goliath druid into a walking engine of destruction. Wow. 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 Uncle Iroh didn't have to put up with this. Artie didn't have to put up with this. Close. Giles had to put up with this. If he can, I can. Okay. Folks, before we go any farther tangential, the Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by, let me move this out, the Simple Sword, available on Amazon. Look up www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockard. The Big Stompy Robots games and books. Basically, think something like BattleTech, but not having to fill out the SATs as a character sheet. Wow, there's some shade. Is brought to you by the Historical Fencing Guild's Patreon patrons, most of which are in the commentary right now trying to turn each other into fashion accessories. Sydney says Uncle Iroh got to put up with a temperamental firebender. So have I. Guys, this has been a great show. 2 of them qualify. Yeah, but if we ever discuss the assorted paranormal ghost stories and supernatural weirdness of people I have worked with, trained, or otherwise endured, I think I could give old Uncle Iroh a run for his money. As long as I don't have to sing Leaves on the Vine. It's funny you mentioned you want some jasmine tea. I could use some jasmine tea. There was a Chinese restaurant where I used to live that the food was subpar, but the tea was phenomenal. I won't recommend it because they ended up with a cockroach problem. But, yeah, guys, it has been amazing, as it always is with you wonderful folks. But unfortunately, I actually have the early shift tomorrow. It's that 1 week of the month where I have to be a lycanthropic librarian and come in the morning, which I am not prone to. So I have to keep myself on a wind down path. So I will be seeing you guys. I will be online harassing Brian K. Morris's Never Mind the Furthermore under my alternate ego, the Mighty Manatee Man, Master of Marketing, plugging all the works and the show. If you like what I do, please like, share, subscribe. Looks like all you guys hit the like, so I'm eternally grateful. Share this around if you think folks would enjoy it. if you guys need anything, hit me up in direct message. You guys are all patrons, so like, patrons or people. So whatever you need, I am here to serve. But with that, guys, stay safe, be kind to yourself and others, and as always, support your local Swordmaster.